I'm Adam Meekle. Boy, we've got a really fun show for you today. We've come into Idaho. In fact, we're up by Riggins, Idaho. We're sitting here on the banks of the Salmon River, and today it's all about the mighty Steelhead.
Realistically, anything over 30 is nice, and anything over 34, 35 is a really good fish for this river.
Pictures of big steelhead hung from the walls at Mountain River Outfitters, the start of our journey. We had high hopes of latching into one of these ocean-going fish. Our guide Brad Sawyer says today's weather, perfect for catching big fish.
Cloudy, cold, and the chance of snow.
That's steelhead weather.
Steelhead weather. Our float will be about 9 miles.
Okay.
And spring bar is roughly 13 miles above.
Known as the River of No Return, the Salmon River, over 400 miles long, is the longest free-flowing river within one state in the lower 48. The salmon flows through a vast wilderness in one of the deepest gorges on the continent. Elk, deer, chukar, even bald eagles line its banks. We couldn't wait to wet a line.
So right now, these fish are going to be, I won't say sulking, but close to it. They're going to find the easiest place to live. They're in the middle of their journey. They're waiting for the spring, for the water temp to come up, the turbidity to come up, so they can continue their journey. So right now, they're just conserving energy, and we're going to most likely find them in the kind of these slower pockets of water. We're going to fish floats, which is a great way to present a bait in this real slow water. You want these floats to sit up just nice and straight up, dead drift, especially in the slow water. And then essentially all you're looking for that float to do is it'll just slide under, or it'll look like a little crappie bite.
Steelhead are one of the most elusive and sought-after game fish in the Pacific Northwest. Catching these prize fish, however, even for the most experienced fishermen, has always been a challenge.
Real.
There we go.
Okay, let's check it now. Okay, that's good.
Is that a fish? Yeah.
I just got my line out.
Sorry, dude, man.
We'll go ahead and slide it in the net.
Good work. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Great, guys. Nice little male hatchery fish. Starting to get a little bit of color in it.
Steelhead typically migrate to the ocean after spending 2 years in fresh water. They then reside in marine waters for typically 2 or 3 years prior to returning to their natal stream to spawn as 4 or 5-year-olds. Unlike other Pacific salmon, steelhead are capable of spawning more than once before they die.
This little healed scar is where the adipose fin used to be. It was clipped at the hatchery, and that's what allows us to know as sportsmen and fisheries managers when the fish come back up the system, so we can discern between a wild fish and a hatchery fish.
Thus, you can retain it.
Thus, we can keep it. If it had an adipose fin, we'd need to release it. Oh, that's a fish. Real. That's a fish.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's a fish.
Oh, yeah. Fish.
Oh, my Donkey Kong.
Wow, this one really doesn't want to come like the others. It just feels good to have one of those big boys in your hands. They're one of the most prettiest things I've ever seen as far as fish is concerned. Next to Brooke, my favorite. And they're big.
That's a super nice fish. If they keep the reel down a little bit for me, reel down. A little more reel, there you go. And then just gradually come up. All right. Nice fish. Gorgeous. That's another hatchery fish.
Oh, yeah.
A little more girth on this
A
one.
little more girth, yep. A female. Yeah, this is a very good representative fish for this river. We're really lucky to have these things in Idaho. It's one of our treasures, and we're always happy to share it with folks.
Speaking of sharing, Steve and Jeremy have caught multiple fish. It's time to get into the game.
Real. Good work.
Keep them over there. I'm trying to get all these wines.
Watch him bring in the biggest fish.
No, he's not very big. I say that now, but he's just resting.
It's a big fish. I see it. It's a big fish, man.
Now start bringing them up in the water column. Up.
Wow.
Good work. Dude, that's a good fish.
That's a beautiful fish. It's a wild fish. Nice. It's a big male.
Check that beautiful fish out. A big male. It's got the adipose fin, so we're going to have to put it back. But that is why you go to Mountain Rivers Outfitters out of Riggins, Idaho. Let's get him back in the water, huh? Give him a drink. Woo!
Good work, fellas.
That was fun.
All right.
You know, You guys are about quantity, but Ankle Clan, we go after quality. Yeah. You knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world.
Sure is nice to have a guy who knows what he's doing, huh?
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, it's a nice fish. Brad has us catching fish using 2 different techniques. The first and most effective is called a bobber rig.
Head up when you get a chance. Work.
Good work.
Good work.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, so on these bobber rods, so we just got a jig that's barbless, of course, and then a bead that's about a foot above that, and the bead is just tied in line, and then it's a couple inches above the hook, and then it goes to a lead, and then the main line, and then the float, and then one more bead, and this little orange corky. At the top of this is the bobber stop, and that's what sets our depth.
Fish on, baby, fish on.
Ideally, we want this jig about 2 feet above the bottom. That way the fish can see it. The fish are looking up. They're laying right on the bottom. Jelly steelhead in our system don't have a tendency to suspend. They're gonna be right on the bottom. Gently pull up, and then reel down. There you go. All the time, big bend. All the time, big bend. Okay.
Looks like a good fish. Jeremy is into a big fish, this time using another of Brad's techniques.
This is called a truck and trailer.
Okay.
Otherwise known as a bait diver combo. A lot of guys call them bait diver combos. But essentially it's a plug that doesn't have any hooks. So this is basically the truck. This is what's getting the bait down to where the fish is. And then you come back 3.5 feet, and then we've got a shrimp, and then a double hook rig with a stinger on the back just to make sure if we have any short biters. And then we back troll. So the idea is you're putting this bait, you're backing it slowly into where fish could be holding, or most likely are holding, and you're pushing them into a fight or flight. They'll just continue to see you get it closer and closer and closer until they've had enough of it, and they either take it due to it being food or you've put it in their bubble. Ooh, that's a nice fish. Right there. Keep leading him that way. There is. Reel, 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 reel. While he's going up, we're gonna keep reel, 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 reel. Head, tip down, tip down, tip down, tip down. There you go. Wait up, head 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 up. Whoa, got him. Good work.
A lot of people pay a lot of money to go up to Alaska to get this kind of fishing. Get it right here in Idaho, man.
Salmon River, Idaho.
Look at that beast. Mountain River Outfitters charges $200 per angler for a full day of steelhead fishing. A bargain in my book when you consider the surroundings, the river, and a well-versed guide that can get you into fish.
Oh, that's a nice fish. That's actually better than I thought. That's a really nice fish. Just take your time.
Okay.
We're doing great. Pulling straight up. Straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up. Woo! Good work.
Nice fish.
Nice fish. That's a keeper.
Is it?
I think that's a fish.
Thanks for inviting me, Jeremy. That was fun. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Brad. You've been awesome.
Look at that.
What a day.
What a fish. Another dandy. Look at that, boys.
Dang. Get your hands in there.
Well, Brad, I'd shake your hand right now, but I got a handful of fish, sir. You've been awesome. I sure appreciate it. People can come check you guys out up here in Riggins. I know you'll show them a good time.
Yeah, Mountain River Outfitters. Stuff like this, that's what we find.
A dozen fish today for 4 anglers. Not bad. Hey, check these guys out. We'll put their link on our website. A beautiful time up here on the Salmon River. Hey, let's head back now to Salt Lake to the guys at Fish Tech for tonight's fishing report.